Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, learner. Welcome back to our lessons. And today, as usual, I have decided to go faceless, bring you content in biology subject. And from our previous lessons, I want to congratulate all of you that are learning with me online. My YouTube channel is Wilfred Mumanyi Onkangi-Kiongozi, or rather Kiongozi Mumanyi. You'll find me on YouTube. Thank you for your subscriptions. Thank you for your sharing and likes. We are moving on well. I also want to thank all of you that have watched my clip on this chapter, the cell, and also urge you to continue following me. Check out, because I have seen from our comment section that most people are saying let us come up with the next chapter, and that means we shall move on giving you content consistently. From our previous lesson, I taught something on cell organelles, and these cell organelles that I talked about in our previous lesson are organelles that are visible when you are using a light microscope to observe both plant and animal cells. We saw quite very few number of organelles, and for that matter, I want to dedicate this video to all of you. Read with me, watch this clip, and let us do these other cell organelles, especially when you're using an electron microscope. When you use an electron microscope, remember you will see more cell organelles as compared to when you are using a light microscope. So in my today's interest in this lesson, I have the following organelles. We have the cell membrane, we have the cellulose cell wall, we have the nucleus, which entails the membrane or nuclear membrane, the nuclear pore, and the nucleolus. Check on the spellings. We have the mitochondrion, that is singular, but when it is plural, we say mitochondria. We have the cytoplasm, we shall have the ribosomes, we have the centrioles, we have the chloroplasts, we have the lysosomes, Golgi apparatus, and of course the endoplasmic reticulum, which are two. We have the rough endoplasmic, rough ER, and of course we have the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So all these organelles are going to be discussed with me here. And before I move to discussing each and every organelle on its own, because I want to show you from the structure to the adaptation and all the way to the function of that given organelle. In this lesson, I want to define what an organelle is and probably do one, which is the nucleus. I begin with the nucleus, and then in our next video, I shall do another one that I will be telling you. So in defining an organelle, we said that an organelle is a structure, is a subcellular structure within the cell that performs one or more functions. All these organelles that you see here, all these subcellular structures that you see, I have listed here, and you can be able to see them well, have various functions for the benefit of the cell and the organism at large. So if somebody asks you in the streets, what is a cell organelle? Just say, these are subcellular structures within the cell that performs given functions. And those organelles can have one function, two functions, or even more functions in that given cell. Remember, a cell is the basic, smallest of course, unit or fundamental basic unit of life. And for it to perform its duty of controlling all, bringing life to an organism, there must be these organelles. Now, briefly, let us talk about the nucleus. Remember, we said that the nucleus is the engine. The nucleus is the engine of the cell. This one is a layman's understanding of what the nucleus is. For example, in a locomotive vessel, talk of maybe a vehicle, the engine is the one that determines whether that vehicle will be efficient in moving and transporting whatever it is transporting or not. If the engine has a problem, most probably that machine or that vehicle may not function well, may not move well. So the nucleus is also referred to as the engine of the cell by the layman people. This nucleus, now biologically and scientifically, has the following function. It controls all the activities of the cell and of course stores genetic information, what we are calling chromatin. In controlling all the activities of the cell, we are saying that if you remove the nucleus from the cell, then that nucleus, that cell dies, rather it malfunctions or even stops functioning, and that brings to death of an organism. This function number 2 of the nucleus is it stores genetic information. Remember, cells are the ones that are responsible in passing characteristics or traits from the parents to the offsprings. And for this reason, they have what we call chromatin. This is a genetic material that is found in the nucleus. So it is the function of the nucleus to store that genetic material or information we call chromatin. We shall talk about things like the chromosomes that are found in the cell, but again we shall give a specific position where the chromatin is found. The nucleus has 3 things. It is composed of 3 things, or rather before we go there, let us talk about the difference in terms of position for the plant cells and for the animal cells in as far as the nucleus is concerned. The nucleus in a plant cell is positioned at the periphery, at the edge of that cell. That one I showed you in my chart. Refer to that video, the first one when we used a chart. But now in an animal cell, just as I have drawn here, the nucleus is centrally positioned, centrally placed, and that shows that the nucleus in terms of positioning is different from the way it looks in both plants and animals. After stating that, I want us to wind up our very short video by discussing the 3 other organelles that are attached to the nucleus to make it complete. The first one is the nuclear membrane. The nuclear membrane surrounds the nucleus and it has what we call the nuclear pores. These are small holes through which materials will pass into and out of the nucleus. Remember, the nucleus requires several materials that are useful in various functions of that nucleus, and for materials to pass across the nuclear membrane, the pores are the ones that facilitates. Finally, we have the darkest part of the nucleus, the most central placed and the darkest part of the nucleus we call the nucleolus. The nucleolus is now the one that is responsible for storing of genetic information, and this is because the main function of the nucleolus is manufacture of ribosomes. In our next video or subsequent videos, I will talk about the ribosomes, but just to hint, I will tell you that the ribosomes are responsible in the formation of proteins, and these proteins are the ones that are responsible in formation and transfer of genetic information. So my good learner, we have tackled 1, the nucleus, and we are done with it. Please join me in the next video so that we can do 1 or 2 cell organelles. I'm happy to have you on board, and thank you very much for following me. Keep watching my videos. Thank you. Goodbye.